Hi, Jerry, you're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine today. How about you?
Not too bad. I was listening to Ed Martin's speech this morning, and certainly a bit of it yesterday. His speech on the phone with you, of course. But I'm hearing this loud statement that it is the least cost option. Least cost option. It keeps coming out over and over. But how can the government turn down an opportunity for a locked-in price of up to maybe as high as 8 cents per kilowatt hour to deliver 800 megawatts of quality dispatchable electricity, more reliable in the winter and not required in the summer based on the hydropower that we have right now? No consideration was ever given for this. No opportunity was ever given for it. Right now we're adding another 100 megawatts to the 490 megawatts that exists in Holyrood to make it almost 600 megawatts. And obviously Muskrat Falls is not even going to be able to displace Holyrood based on the amount of power that's going to be going to Nova Scotia and to the mining industry. By the time it gets here, if it ever gets here, they might be able to reduce Holyrood by possibly 35 to 40%, which is certainly a high price to pay for something that's really only going to reduce Holyrood by that small amount of money, and the cost of the oil is still going to be in the picture. And all in all, when you look at saying the liability and the risk and everything, the risk and the liability and the cost would be completely eliminated if they had considered wind power as an option. And there's no reason why the prices could ever go up, because once you make a deal to pay out so much a month for so many years to pay off the system, it wouldn't have cost the proponent any more every year to operate it, because the operating costs of a wind farm are very minimal, and the payments on it would stay the same until the system was paid off. Now, obviously, electricity prices are going to go up all the time, like anything else, because, if you look back at 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, you could buy a fish and chips, we'll say, for $1. And now it's $8, so the cost of living has gone up, the minimum wage has gone up and everything else, and it's always going to go up. But the opportunity to stabilize electricity prices by purchasing power from a proposed supplier who can offer a locked-in price with no liability,
Jerry,
no risk, and locked-in price,
If it's as simple as you say, why isn't every jurisdiction on the face of the earth relying on wind power for that firm low cost, when in fact nobody is in North America? So why is that, though? Because I think that's a legit question. We've had this conversation many times. The cost per kilowatt hour across the country is nowhere near what you say it can be achieved for with wind, even though that needs complementary power generation to be part of the supply. If what you say is true, why doesn't everyone just use wind?
Well, listen, why is Newfoundland the only place in the entire world that has banned wind power and solar power for residential, commercial, or industrial purposes?
It's not true. It's not true, though.
Why is every other location in the world right now begging for it? And I'll use Nova Scotia as one example. Our neighbours, they're giving all kinds of incentives. They're begging for renewable energy all the time.
Yeah.
And it's allowed. You can hook into it anywhere and do it. There's no other place in the entire world that has a ban on it.
There's no ban, though, so...
There is a ban on it. You're not allowed to use wind power to interconnect into the grid today.
Yeah, but you are allowed to use solar. There is wind farms on the island right now. So
Where?
There's no... Pardon me?
What do you mean there's wind farms on the island?
Well, you're telling me there's not? What are those big turbines up Southern Shore? What's going on around you?
The government owns those. I'm talking about wind turbines for residential, commercial, and industrial purposes when individuals or individual companies want to do it. You're not allowed to do it. Why?
You're allowed
no reason.
You're allowed to generate the power. You're just not allowed to sell it back to the grid.
Not selling it. You're not allowed. You
or give it back, or do whatever you want with it.
Integrate is the word.
Okay.
But why is Newfoundland right and every other place in the entire world wrong? That cannot be challenged. I would ask...
But it can't be challenged. You tell us that the cost of wind can be fixed and low, and I ask the simple question, why doesn't everybody do it if what you say is true? And Then you tell me that it's banned, which it's not. So why, if we can do it for 8 cents, why isn't every single province, because the wind blows everywhere, why aren't they doing it?
Every province in Canada is doing it. They're allowing any individual, company, or industrial project that wants to move ahead. Every province in Canada is welcoming it and giving incentives to do it.
All right.
You don't realize that, do you?
Well, I do an awful lot of reading, Jerry. You sent me an awful lot of information. I have looked at power generation across the country and every kind of power generation. There is no ban on it, and the costs are not what people tell us they are. If it was true, then why is anywhere in the country paying what they pay for power if you can just do it for 8 cents? I mean, it's a real question, right? You know, the power comes from the Upper Churchill today with profit of solar, 3.2 cents per kilowatt hour. Why? Because it is a long-term renewable form of power, which once you got the construction done, it takes very little human resources and very little upkeep, maintenance, and overhead costs to produce hydro. It is a lot to invest in today, and it is going to be a huge burden on a lot of the ratepayers. But if it's as simple as you put up a wind farm and you get your power for 8 cents, I just wonder, and it's just a question, why doesn't everybody do it? That's all.
They are doing it everywhere across Canada.
Except that no one pays 8 cents per kilowatt hour, though, right?
They're doing it for less than that. I just said the price could be as high as 8 cents a kilowatt hour, locked in, I'm saying locked in.
Yeah.
Not going up in price with like the minimum wage and the cost of living, which is happening every day right now.
Yeah.
I would ask for an opportunity to have an interview with individuals from Newfoundland Labrador Hydro or the government of Newfoundland on VOCM or on television with professionals in the industry. Right now, I'd ask for it, and I can bring individuals here who will prove every word I'm saying.
I always thought it was a mistake, and it was a bad move to not accept your presentation opportunity at Hydro or at Nalcor. I thought they should have. Why not? You had a firm plan. You had a really detailed plan for the Trapassi Barons for 700 megawatts. On the outside looking in, it sounded great. I don't know why they didn't accept your presentation and your request for an appointment. We've always agreed on that point. I don't know. You know, the isolated system that is Newfoundland and Labrador and the difficulty with balancing the grid with wind and the other complementary power generation sources, I suppose somewhere in that is the reason why they don't do large-scale wind. Is it fair? I don't know. Can it be done for cheaper than anything else on the face of the earth? I don't know. I think you can buy gas cheaper than wind currently, but that's only going to escalate as the demand for the product goes up. So I think you make a lot of interesting points. I enjoy the wind conversation. I don't know why we didn't do it. I don't know why, if everyone can get it for 8 cents high watermark, why we're not all doing it. They're fair comments and fair points. Anything else quick, Jerry?
Well, quickly, I just got to make the statement. You were saying that why isn't everyone else doing it in the world? Everybody is doing it. I can provide solid, real information and facts from the industry, from the governments all around the world, and I can prove the incentives that are being provided because it's cheaper, and they're begging people to do it, and they're giving people money to do it. So why would governments all over the world be giving people money and encouraging them to go ahead and do it? And at the end of the day, if you could own a system to provide power to your home and pay it off in 10 years and have another 15 years of free electricity, why would you not jump at the opportunity, especially if there was no risk, no cost, and no liability?
I appreciate your time, Jerry, and stay in touch at your convenience.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye.